Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. I've got a new microphone, a wireless one. Ooh, posh. So, today, what we're talking about, self-empowerment. How you empower yourself. I get asked this quite a bit, and I have a few of my friends and clients that have this issue. And I've also had this issue lately as well. And an element of me has kind of, not all of me, but an element of me has kind of like broken away from that belief, that self belief, that self doubt. So, how do we deal with self empowerment? How do we find our power? How do we connect to our sovereignty? And a lot of it is to do with belief. A lot of everything that we need to focus on, well, everything we need to focus on is within the mind. And self empowerment is something where an element of you is being taken away by someone or something at some point in your life. It can happen through ancestral, it can happen in past lives, it can be generational where it comes through and there's an element of something that may be missing, or there's a connection to something that you feel is where you're lacking and you don't have that strength of character to be able to face what you need to face. And that's where you need to find that empowerment, that self empowerment. And a lot of it comes from confidence. A lot of it comes from self belief, drive. A lot of it comes from root chakra, very physical stuff, very stuff to do with fear, to do with where you are in life, to do with your inner security, your inner stability. So, working with that premise and working with that energy, your stability, where are you in life? Where is your mind? Where is your level belief? Where is your focus? Where is your intention? Is your intention still a little bit scattered? Are you still a little bit all over the place? Are you still finding yourself? Are you going through that process of self-discovery? That's all part of the process as well. And it's something that eventually over time, through the healing work, through the years that you work with yourself, speak to yourself, do the healing work, do the inner work with your shadow. There was something that came up from recently from me. And it was really this element of fear. And I did a quick video. I don't know if I put it on YouTube, but I did it on my TikTok account. So if you want to follow me over there, I do shorter videos over there as well, just Reiki Zen. And it was to do with procrastination and fear. And in the video, I was talking about procrastination, and I have this issue with procrastination. And this was an idea of a video that I wanted to make, but some impetus and some information that came through recently, from not just from clients but from myself, made me sort of like hold back a little bit, because there was more to come, there was more information to come, and now I feel I'm at a point where I can actually share some of that information to be able to allow you, to empower you to move forward, to give you that self-belief, that self-worth that you need to empower yourself. So what happened for me was, over many years, I've always had this issue with self belief, how I look, what I say, who's going to laugh at me, are they going to ridicule me, are they going to point at me, are they going to think I'm like a little bit weird or a little bit daft for doing that? And then it got to a point where I just thought, you know what, fuck it, fuck the lot of them, I really don't care. But then it started coming up again, it started creeping up. And in the mind, the ego is always telling you, but what if they say that? What if this happens? What if that happens and puts you back there? And there's always this element of fear. And that is where procrastination comes from. When I was speaking to myself, speaking to my body, and I was talking to the procrastination, which itself is an entity within your energy field, within you. It's an emotion, it's a feeling, it's a frequency. So it's something within you that really shouldn't be there, and it's debilitating, it's slowing you down, it's stopping you from finding yourself, from finding your calling, from finding your purpose. And this could be anything, to do with you. It could be on your own individual journey, it could be something totally different. It could be self-worth, it could be self-love, it could be accepting. There's so many different things that we experience and go through in life that we just don't know how to get to the bottom of it. And this is something that obviously I was doing, and I was speaking to the procrastination. So I said, okay, procrastination, what are you all about? why are you doing this? Why are you stopping me from doing this? And then the feeling came through that it was fear. And you tend to feel a lot of these feelings in your solar plexus chakra. That's where all the information tends to come through, comes through your being, goes through, because you are a portal at the end of the day for receiving energy and feeling energy. And in this solar plexus chakra was this fear, like, oh, right, okay, and I could feel it bubbling away there. And so I said, okay, fear. So what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? What is it that I need to be fearful of? And I was taken back in mind and back in memory to a time in, I think it was infant school, junior school, something like that, to the headmistress that was there and some of the teachers that were there, and um, a time that where I was just felt I was kind of like pointed out a little bit because I was a chubby kid. I was overweight as a child, and they used that kind of like to pick on me a little bit. You couldn't get it. Some of the stuff that they'd said, you could never get away with that these days. Not with all the PC brigade and what have you. And that's where a lot of this stuff was coming from. And then once I was able to sit with that and I realized it and I felt where it was in the body and I visualized it, I pictured it, I gave it the color, I gave it the representation of what it was, and then I gave it permission to leave. And it felt as though there was an element, it was like in my lower stomach bowel area where there was this sort of grey energy, and I just surrounded it with breath, with light, and just gave it permission to leave. And it felt as though there was this big hole was just left in my lower bowel. So I'm like looking like there sort of area. And it went, and then there was this space. So then I just kept breathing and visualizing this space, just reconstructing, filling with light, healing, balancing, doing what it needed to do. And I felt totally different out of it. When I came out the other side of it, I felt like that, like I couldn't give a fuck sort of thing, like what they think. That became even stronger, and I felt a new sense of empowerment. I started putting posts out here, there, and everywhere, and about Reiki, about my services, about my website, about the different modalities that I do, and I was sharing it across different platforms and different pages. Whereas before it would have been like, oh my God, I mean, someone I know might see this, they might think, well, oh, he's gone off the rails, he's gone off. And now I just think, to hell with it, to heck with it. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is my life calling. This is my purpose. And again, belief is such a powerful, powerful thing. The belief that you are on the right path, you are doing the very thing that you need to be doing is everything. Keep focusing on that belief, and your belief will become so. It'll take a while. You have to go through the process. Again, the ego, the mind, the healing that you need to go through. Having that belief and having that drive is actually extremely healing because it makes you aware of a lot of stuff that wants to actually stop you in your tracks. And when you start working through that and you're working through the blocks, you're working through the issues, you are slowly empowering yourself. You are empowering your ability to move forward. You are empowering yourself to get through those blocks, to jump over those hurdles and do what you need to do for you, for your calling, for your life purpose, for your journey. Whatever it might be. It might not be something spiritual. It might just be a career. It might be a goal. It might be an aspiration. Whatever it is will be, it's something that fills you with passion. It fills you with love. You just feel a calling that you need to do it. You need to share it. Keep pushing that belief. Keep pushing through that fear. Keep pushing through all those barriers that are holding you back. And every step that you take, the universe is repaying you by giving you the healing, by giving you the information that you need to heal yourself on a deeper level, to become more self-aware, to step through it all. Something else I was aware of quite a while ago, and I did mention this in a video a while back, but I kept having, like for a long time, I've had issues with like acid reflux, all that sort of stuff. Again, emotional stuff, stomach. And the stomach was telling me something. So again, I sat and I listened to my body. And I spoke to my stomach and I said, okay, what is this? Why do I keep getting this feeling, this acid reflux? And the feeling that came through was it was an element of anger. I was like, oh, okay. So what have I got to be angry about? So, and I thought, well, I'm not an angry person. And various things cropped up. So I was like, okay, anger, I don't want you here anymore. You're slowing me down. You're stopping me. So I said, I'm going to give you permission to leave. I allow this anger to leave me. I do not want this anger in my body. It's slowing me down. It's causing me illness. It's slowing my natural progression. It's lowering my vibration. It's giving me physical issues. This anger can leave. And the more I spoke to it, the more I could feel it lifting. I could feel it trembling in my stomach. And I gave out this big, huge belch. I was like, oh, wow. And I felt a shift internally. The energy shifted internally. And the anger, gone. So that is where empowerment is. That is where self-empowerment is. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of years, and it takes a lot of healing, and it takes a lot of different practices and ways of working with it. But the more centralized you become, the more harmonious you become within yourself, and you bring your masculine and feminine together, you bring your yin and yang, you bring your balance into life, you start to actually go deeper internally. You may think that, well, I'm already working on internally on myself, but if these things are coming up, then there is something that you're not addressing internally. And you may not be addressing it because there is an element of fear there. So actually, that lesson of fear and that fear emotion is a big thing that we can really use to alchemize, to transform ourselves. We look at that fear because that fear is there as a lesson. As with everything in life, everything that happens negatively, or air quotes negatively, the other side of it, the polarization of it, you can polarize it to a negative, to a positive belief. And that positive belief is the driving force that you need to push through that fear with. And you need to speak to that fear. You need to speak to that emotion. It might not be fear, it might be something else. I'm just using that as an example because that's what happened with me. But it's exactly the same. The frequency, the energy is the same. It just has different vibrations. It has different frequencies that you just need to work with and you need to go through. And the more you do it, the more you go through it, the more you're aware of it, and the more you're aware of yourself, the more centralized within yourself you become. The more centralized way that you become allows you to become stronger in the mind, stronger in the belief. The stronger in the belief you become, the more empowered you start to become. And you get to a point where you can just move through things without issue, without hindrance, because the belief, the positivity, the drive, and everything about you is pointing in that direction. And that is true empowerment. True empowerment always comes from within and from facing the issue that you need to face. And that's taken me a long time to actually get to that point and realize that, like fully realize it. I may have thought maybe 5-10 years ago I realized it, and it's only now that I've realized there's another level to it all. You think you've dealt with something, but there's usually something else behind it that is just waiting in the wings to be seen, to be dealt with, to be healed. And I use the analogy in one of my videos of if you think of your emotions and your blocks as like a piece of string, and each block is like a knot on the string. It's like a knot in your energy. And as you start to unpick that knot and deal with it, all of the others on that strand start to be unpicked as well, start to be unraveled. And that is bringing you into that harmonious flow state, because once you start getting rid of all those blocks of energy, you've dealt with that strand of energy, you've unlocked it, and then you've unlocked the keys to what you need, whatever you need to unlock the keys to. It might be the next stage, it might be the next piece of string you need to look at. And that is what healing all is about. And that is what empowerment is all about. It's about finding those knots, finding those blocks, speaking to them, dealing with them, and being in that wonderful space of having true awareness and true belief that you can just let that stuff go. You can really claim back your sovereignty, claim back your power, and don't give your power away. The other thing as well that I find with people, with a lot of people, and a lot of people that I speak to that ask me for advice and what have you, is that they get so affected by what other people think and say of them, and it can be really debilitating to them. It can really affect their whole day, their week, their month by what those people have said, how they've made them feel. And again, that comes down to the belief of that person has the power to make me feel like that. When in actual fact, you have the power to say to them, well, that is your belief, that's your understanding, but that's not my belief. I am separate to that, and I am my own power. Taking back your sovereignty, taking back your voice, reclaiming that power. A lot of people have issues, I think, with the throat chakra. I know I did for a long time, especially when I started this channel. If you look back at my really earlier videos, when I was making videos, I used to always clear my throat all the time. And that was a level of insecurity for me. And I very much do that. I don't do that a lot now. The only time I think I really do that in videos is when maybe I'm talking about something that I think, should I really be talking about this? Is it too controversial? Is it too taboo? Or again, maybe there's that level of, what if somebody sees this? It's that little level of, again, self-doubt. But I feel myself becoming more confident, becoming more able, becoming more empowered, becoming more grounded, becoming more centered. The more grounded you are, the more centered you become, the more aware you become, the more powerful you become. So self-empowerment, you can claim it back. It's there. You just need to look for those little keys. You need to look at the fears. Look at the things that are holding you back and be open and honest with yourself and speak to them. Speak to your body. Your mind will speak to you and it will tell you. There is another element to this as well, where what will happen is the ego will step in, and the ego will start to make you think there's nothing wrong. There's nothing for you to see here. And it will try to take you away. And the more aware of whatever it is, so for me, the fear, whatever it is that you become more aware of, the ego will try its hardest to pull you away from it because it doesn't want you to see what you need to look at and heal. And the ego is there. It's not there as though it's a bad thing. It's there to keep us in some area of ourselves aligned. But if we allow it to take over too much, then that is when the issues start. That is when the problems become, because you then get locked in the mind, the mindset, and it just brings you into a whole world of other stuff. So listen to that as well. Be aware of the ego and how it might try and pull you away from the track, but always keep your sights on the prize that you want to focus on. That end goal, that belief. Speak to yourself openly. Don't be dissuaded by the ego or the super ego. Be focused, and you will find it. You will find that light. You will find that spark within yourself, and you will feel even more powerful, more empowered, more focused, more driven than you've ever felt before. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Do take care. Namaste.